it's approved, only about 20 will make the cut if you go by the Dow Jones rules. So this is something that I think we should think about. That how do we find some convergence between Dow Jones standards and our own standards? So that's something we have to look at. The other thing is, you mentioned something about Islamic bonds. There's much more Islamic bonds being issued relative to conventional bonds. I think that's interesting, but I also think there is a monetary element to it. It's not that Malaysian companies have suddenly become more Islamic. Okay, I think they're doing it because the yields on the Islamic bonds can be lower than the yields on similar conventional bonds. And I believe that's because of the excess liquidity within the Islamic banking system. There's so much of Islamic money, but there is so little investable instruments, and therefore I think that's the issue. Okay? So in a sense, arbitrage is possible and all that, so I think that's something we should look at. And finally, let me make one last point, and I think this issue about, you said more than 70 Islamic mutual funds, that's a good development. However, I think we also have to think about how would these Islamic mutual funds hedge themselves? What risk management instruments do they have? Because the conventional ones have many instruments. They have index options, they have index futures, but the Islamic ones have nothing. So this is something I think SC should look into. Thank you very much.
The next discussant, Dr. Ruslin.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I don't think I'm a discussant here. It's just like I want to share with us, with all of you, on my, what I can say, observation. Okay, for me, the issue of screening process is quite, literally, it's a kind of settled issue already, because it is already a kind of regulation. Something wrong with it. Okay. Okay. It's okay. I think you can okay.
I think that's the
Is it purposely done so that we have to come front? No, sure. Okay, I would like to share a few of, my view on this issue of stock screening. For me, it is a kind of subtle issue already, because it is regulations, guidelines already. And, well, I think looking into the questions posed just now, it was more like an explanation, okay, that maybe the players need from the securities. And thank you for Cik Nik's presentation, which is, I think, very, very interesting, and then it is very clear to all of us. Okay, so I would like to make it very brief. Okay, I have three important. I put what I want to say in three important, what we call it, points. Number one is that, okay, I'm talking about from the legal or so-called Shari'ah perspective, that there is no disagreement of Muslim scholars over the permissibility of owning the share, okay, of companies that wish deal with permissible activities. I think everybody are clear on that. Muslim jurists agree on that. Okay, let me put into point. Okay, one, agree with that. Okay, and then number two, follow otherwise that there is no disagreement again as to the investment to the so-called haram companies. Okay. But when it comes to the companies who is a kind of mixture, we do have the investment of mixture within halal and non-halal, then the questions of screening comes into place. Okay? So I would like to quote, I think again that's why I say that it is quite a settled issue, because there is a fatwa, okay, by our contemporary Muslim scholars, okay, to name few, Nazir Hamad, for example, Sheikh Nazir Hamad, Sheikh Taqi Uthmani offered the permissibility of Muslim to invest to the company who have this kind of mixture of activities between halal and non-halal, provided of course, okay, that it is very minimal, as what Cik Nik mentioned just now. There are certain percentage, even though it is made on our own, what we call it, the regulation in Malaysia, but we do have, even in IIiBF, of course, they do have certain benchmark, okay, and then provided of course they have agreed that if we have this kind of profit, of course it goes to the charity, and then it cannot go to you, because it is considered as what we call it, a kind of haram thing to do. Okay, and I think the justification, we do have the justification why the Muslim jurists, the contemporary Muslim jurists, come up with that idea, with that fatwa, because it would be unfair to the, what we call it, Muslim, to be denied of investment opportunities in the, what we call it, international markets, provided that, again, okay, the fatwa provides that, provided that the haram elements is strictly controllable. I think that is why the screening guidelines come into play. Okay, so what we have, we do have a very minor, I think, in which Dr. Oban has raised up the issue why globally we can say there is no one standard. Okay, does it mean that maybe we can question on that? Why the standard in Malaysia is different than standard in IIiBF, for example? Okay, does it consider as a kind of maslahah? Maybe another, what we call it, research to be done on that. Okay, but I think Dr. Oban has mentioned that already. I think that will be all of my sharing of information. Thank you.
Last but not least, Alicia.
Assalamualaikum. Although I come from IRK, I mean Islamic Religion Knowledge, I'm going to change the issue a little bit. I'm going to discuss it, to compare this idea of Shari'ah-based investing to ethical investing or socially responsible investing. I think we should extend the issue. If you look at the Dow Jones Islamic Index, actually it discusses not only just the limited issues that you discussed just now. It includes an idea of either ethical investing or socially responsible investing. So you want to include the ethical dimension into law. So in other words, in a way, we want to see that this index, this idea of ethics should culminate in the idea of investing. Only then will the idea of religion and economics actually mix. If not, the purview of religion and economics shouldn't be the case.